10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Welcome to the podcast from Doug Ground Up Productions with hosts LADIMIZ and Ray. This is a universal platform, and there is nothing off limits. We talk about it all, and we keep it real. This is a no judgment zone, so come as you are. If you are a professional, entertainer, author, comedian, entrepreneur, or just someone who wants to get something off their chest, well, let your voice be heard here on From the Ground Up Productions. Sponsorship and other opportunities are available from the Ground Up Productions. Turning nothing into something. There's only one way to go from here. And now, here are your hosts, LADIMIZ and Ray.
Yeah, what's good, people? Happy Monday. We are back. Thank God it's Monday. Like they like to say, thank God it's Friday, but I like to say thank God it's Monday because that's another blessing that we have on the right side of the dirt. That's what I'm talking about. What's good? I'm your host, LADIMIZ. This is from the Ground Up Productions. There's only one way to go from here, and I'm rocking out with
Ray, y'all. What's up?
My co-host, Double R, the silent assassin in the building. Y'all already know what it is. Today we have a special guest and Rickstevens, and this is honoring his father, Rickstevens, and we're going to chop it up with him and everything. So just pull up a seat because this is going to be a great interview, y'all. I just want to let y'all know. Before we get started, I want to tell y'all what From the Ground Up Productions is about for those who don't know. From the Ground Up Productions is a platform where we interview entertainers, legends, entrepreneurs, and business owners. The purpose of this podcast is to help bring exposure to those in the entertainment business, in the entertainment business field. It's also a place for us to discuss relatable topics, to educate our viewers, and we do this by speaking to different professionals about their experiences, their goals, and challenges. When doing this, you will learn valuable information that will help you evolve and grow as an entertainer and entrepreneur. And as you heard in the beginning of our intro, this is a no judgment zone. So we always tell people to come as they are. Super important. We need y'all to understand and know that, okay? We are live right now on Roku, and we are also live on YouTube. Anybody that comes again across this, you can share this link with other people so that they are able to tune in. And as I told y'all before, today we are interviewing Rickstevens, who is the son of the late, great Rickstevens. But before we get into that interview, we're going to play a commercial first. For those who are content creators, entertainers, entrepreneurs, business owners, and would like to join our network or even advertise your services and product, listen up.
Are you a content creator? Do you make music videos, short films, documentaries, web series, kids shows, movies, stand-up comedy, visual podcast, educational shows, or sports? Are you a fitness instructor or gamer? Do you record church ceremonies or report news? If so, contact From the Ground Up Productions TV by email at fromthegroundupproductions@gmail.com. For more information on getting your content played on our network on Roku, where there are over 85 million viewers and growing. No more being limited or blocked on social media from the content you post and create. Get the freedom to be you without restrictions from controlled social media. And if you want to run your ads or sponsor our network, contact us now at fromthegroundupproductions@gmail.com to get started now.
You're now tuned in to From the Ground Up Productions, broadcasting around the world.
It's game time. Let's get it, y'all. It's your girl, LADIMIZ, and the silent assassin over here. Y'all already know what it is.
I got so many damn names.
Big shout out to Thaisha Wickford, Gloria Stewart, Town Mama in the building. You know what I mean? Make sure y'all share this live, and share this link. So listen, y'all, without further ado, I want to get into it. Like I told y'all, today we are interviewing Rickstevens, the son of the late great Rickstevens. So let's welcome him to the show.
Hey.
Rickstevens, welcome to the show, brother. Nice to have you here sharing your story with us.
Thank you for having me. And I want to keep his name alive is my goal. And I'm going to keep sharing his story because it's a powerful story and I want the world to hear it.
Absolutely. And you know what? We want to shout you out for that. I think it's so beautiful how you're keeping the legacy of your father alive. You know what I mean? I think that's a beautiful thing. So, shout out to you for that.
Thank you. Yeah, he came, stayed with me, when he came home after all those years. So I really got to know him, visited him in jail, and I was almost like you. I was an interviewer. I had to, get to know my dad. So I got his story right here with me.
Oh, that's what I'm talking about. That's a blessing.
Yeah.
That's a blessing.
And that's good because most kids lose connection with their dad, especially once they get incarcerated. That how you call it, that relationship kind of wavers.
Yeah.
Especially that amount of time.
Yeah. It was 36 years. But I didn't meet my dad until I was 10 years old. So that made me want to know him. I didn't know my dad when he was the Tower of Power, Rickstevens. When I knew my dad, he was just the Donald Stevenson. So every time I went through those, those gates, I wanted to know everything, man. Where you come from, who your mama, who your daddy, how was the tours, how did you get involved in, in drugs and, what happened with everything? So I became, an interviewer. And I tell everybody it was the courtship of CeCe's father, So I got to really meet him in jail. And a lot of times when you're in jail, you get those one-on-ones for those couple hours. If you utilize it as value, then it becomes value. I didn't think of it as like, my dad's not home and stuff like that. I took it for what it was, and I learned and got to know my dad and we got real close.
Okay, well that's good that you was able to do that. And I think that is so important also. I hear a little feedback.
Yeah, that's an echo. That's from CeCe side. It's when we talk. Do you have headphones you can put on? So there's feedback. If not, we can work through it.
Yeah, I gotta find them.
No, that's all right then.
Okay. Yeah. No, it's all right. It's not that bad, but I do hear it. But what I was gonna say was I think that it's so important that as a child, it's so important that you know your history as far as your family members and your roots and where you come from. So I could see why you were doing that research because that, all of us, that's a part of us. And we definitely need to know where we came from, who we came from, so we can understand a part of who we are. You know what I mean?
That's right. Yeah.
Yes.
And, Go ahead. And a lot of times we look at negative, things and we let that, be a thing where we don't even want to deal with, And my mom trained me to not, go there, take the positive out of everything, and that's what I did to, get to know my dad, and it was a blessing. I'm telling you, it was a blessing.
Wow, you gotta give a shout out to your moms too because she.
Oh yeah, Ellen Hicks, Ellen Hicks in San Francisco, California. Hey.
That's what I'm talking about. Big shout out to DJ Cisco also on the check-in. So before we get into, because we're gonna get into this deep, you know what I mean, with your father, with the legacy of him, with his music, and his past and what happened with him doing time, as you already stated. But tell us a little bit about you and where you're from.
I'm from San Francisco, California. Born and raised there all my life until I moved to the suburbs of Antioch, California. You know, you can't afford San Francisco, so you kind of move an hour away, kind of thing. So I moved I moved an hour away, but I'm still, you know, in arm's reach of moms and, you know, a lot of the Bay Area things. Real estate agent, entrepreneur, trying to work on some, you know, buying houses and doing things of that nature. Working on a project for my dad for next year. Trying to recreate his music. I got some good Bay Area artists who's joined up, and we're going to get a project going for next year for his legacy to continue. So just trying to be a little bit into everything, you know.
Beautiful.
Ex barber. I was a barber for 20 years, and that started my entrepreneurial career. And after that, I've been looking to be self-employed for everything that I do.
That's what I'm talking about. That's right. That entrepreneur spirit. That's a beautiful thing. Right. Yes. Okay. All right. So I see you do a lot, you know, so which is a good thing, you know, and because you got to also have multiple streams of income too. So I think that's very important. And you seem like you really got it all together. So the first thing I want to ask you is, what part did your father play in your life? And did he play a part as far as who you are today?
A big part. And one of the biggest parts is I used to have bad days. And my dad would call collect, you know, you get that little collect call, boop, you know, collect call from, and he used to say, your famous father. And I'll pick up the phone and be talking to him about my bad days. And he would just get denied parole. He got denied parole probably over 30 to 50 times. And I'll be talking to him about my problems, and he'd tell me, yeah, I got denied parole again and stuff. And he'd be cheerful. He would have a better attitude than me about the little dramas that I was dealing with. And after I hung up the phone, I was like, wow, my dad has a better attitude than me, and he just got denied parole. So it's like I stopped tripping off all the little things in life. The ups and downs. I mean, that's life, ups and downs. But the downs wasn't that much, you know, I didn't trip off it as much. And because of him and his attitude and his positive feedback at all times. Every time you talk to my dad, it was positive feedback. And it was almost like, you committed a crime. You know, it had that kind of mentality. And it also let me know somebody with a good personality and is cool, if they get pushed or you get down the wrong road, things can happen. So you got to stay focused so you won't put yourself in those predicaments, you know.
Absolutely.
And that's what my dad taught me, you know, in all those years. His positivity was amazing.
That is amazing. That is amazing because, you know, to be locked up and to get denied, you know, that can break somebody's spirit. You know what I mean? So for him to still have that positive spirit is, you know, he definitely still was setting an example for you, you know. So I'm sure that, you know, obviously played a role in how you deal with certain things and how you deal with life and certain trials and tribulations when it come your way. Now, he had a hit record, The Tower of Power, and he was a famous singer, as we know. And we have his music here. We're gonna play it. Before we get into that, I want to get into, you know, which is, I'm sure everybody want to know the story of what happened, and why he went to jail. Right.
Well, he started with Tower at an early age. He was the original singer. Him and Rufus Miller was the original lead singers. Okay. And he did the first album, East Bay Grease, and they had one song on there that was a major hit. It was Sparkling in the Sand. And that song took them to Warner Brothers, and they got the Bump City album with the "You Still a Young Man," his signature song. So those was the things that got him started. He started going on tour, doing all these things, and they needed energy to, stay on tour and do all those kind of things, and they got caught up in the drugs. He got caught up in the speedball, which is some kind of heroin, thing, and he got caught up and got real deep into drugs while he was with Tower of Power. At that point, drug dealers were fronting a lot of musicians because they wanted to be behind the scenes. They wanted to be backstage. They wanted to be front row. So he started getting fronted a lot of drugs. He got into it with the Tower of Power members. And then when he left the group, they wanted their money. He didn't have the money. He just left the group. The money had dried. It got drawn up. It was dry now. And they threatened to kill him or get him and his family if he didn't give up that money. So once he found out that they was coming after him, he went and got after them. And unfortunately, he had a crime where he murdered 3 people and got the death penalty after he got arrested. The death penalty in California in 1976. I think that was the crime, but at that time, Governor Brown had outlawed the death penalty. So after he got sentenced, they outlawed the death penalty, and then they gave him life without parole. So the Lord saved him, because he got the death penalty at the right time. So he ended up getting life without parole at that time. But the majority of why he did what he did was he was a druggie. He was a dope fiend at that time. He got caught up in them drugs, and he made that calm, cool, collective, dude become a monster. And he had a monster run, and and that's how he ended up getting all the time that he got.
Now, how did he get parole? Because you said he eventually got out. So how did he end up getting parole?
Well, after it was like 30 something years, it was a thing called Apple Music streaming and all those things with music. So they start buying all the old music because of streaming. So now You're Still a Young Man is getting, returns. They're getting royalty checks. So he started getting royalty checks, and the bank account start filling up. And when he got that money, he got a lawyer. He found a lawyer who knows how to get people that got on death row, who got life sentences and all those kind of things, who specialize in getting them out. So once he got the lawyer, he said, well, Rick, why they keep denying you parole? Because you haven't gotten written up in 30 something years. You have a perfect record. You're going outside of the jail to perform and speak to juvenile kids and do all these things. You are a model prisoner. Why are they denying you? It was because of the crime. The lawyer said, I got him. The crime is not going to change. So they can't deny you based on the crime. They have to deny you based on, some family members saying you shouldn't come out, or, they don't think you have rehabilitated, all those things. This lawyer found that out and got my dad out after 36 years.
Wow. That is amazing. And it's so good when you got a good lawyer that knows their stuff. Because you can have a public pretender, and that can have you locked up forever. You know, oh man. And not to say, and I'm just being honest here, that listen, there was a murder involved, right? So of course, time has to be served, and we, you know, accountability has to be there, right? You know,
Right,
but at the same time, the fact, like you said, the crime don't change, but the person can. You know, and also, you know, if he was under the influence at the time, it's a lot of factors in there that can make you say, hold up, because sometimes people need rehabilitation more than anything else. So that, you know, that is a amazing story. I just want to shout out BTP Media, Jeff, on the check-in. Guys, if you're looking for somebody like Jeff or other people that to be interviewed, he's the guy to go to. Absolutely. So that okay, go ahead.
Now, speaking of that, did he ever express regret for what he did?
All the time. Every interview, if you go on any interview that he did, he knew, you know, that was a crime. So he didn't never let that not be something that people just brush under the rug. He wanted to let everybody know how remorseful he was for that, as he called it. He was a jackass in a jumpsuit. So he wanted to let everybody know how, you know, he's remorseful. He reached out to the families. It was also a girlfriend at the time who was at the house who witnessed those murders, and he ended up reaching out to her, and they had so good of a connection. They used to be pen pals and write once a month.
Wow.
I mean, you know, this how remorseful, you know, he was about everything that he did.
Wait, so he was pen pals with one of the victim's daughter, you said?
Girlfriend.
Oh, girlfriend. Oh,
yeah.
Wow. Look at that. That's amazing.
Yeah,
wow.
Yeah. He used to talk to her all the time on the phone, and, you know, she used to come visit. So everything that he did was trying to, you know, make amends as best that he could. You know, you can only make certain amount of amends, you know, for a crime like that. But he did everything in his power, you know, with any of the victims' families, or, you know, anybody that, you know, was affected, you know, with this crime.
Now, I'm gonna ask this question. Unfortunately, the prison system, when they deny parole, did race play a part in it?
No, not at all.
Besides the crime? Okay.
No, not at all. Money did. Money played a part. You know, because if you don't hire this guy, once again, a shout out to Peter Bolden out of the Sacramento area, real great lawyer. As my dad used to call him, he was a pit bull, and he would go in there attack. So, you know, sometimes you need somebody, that Johnny Cochran's in the world, that can kind of, you know, get you out of those situations. So you now can be an advocate for the world. See, we want to bury everybody and forget about them. And they have some things that they can share with the world and bless the world and help the world. But, you know, once somebody do something, it's almost like, no, they should be dead too. That's the mentality that we have, you know, in the American prison system, unfortunately.
And you know, that's very true. But also, I think that it was amazing that there was forgiveness from other people on the other end, which is not an easy thing to do. It is definitely not. So I think, you know, when you hear a story like that and say, oh, wow, he was able to connect with the girlfriend and other people, and they became pen pals and built a relationship, you know, forgiveness is so important. And like they say, sometimes forgiveness is not for the other person, it's for you as well. So I think that is amazing too.
Yes.
That also that shows the kind of person he is, that he can actually appeal to get that forgiveness. Because some people, you know, they don't have the attitude. They can go and just be the half-ass I'm sorry, and it don't even be real, you know, just to get into
it. And you'll be surprised how many people used to think that, you know, they're faking it just because they're trying to get out and all those kind of things. You got into the Bible because you're trying to get out. And you know, I would see those messages and on Facebook and different things. But when my dad came home, he tried to do even more. He was with United Players in San Francisco. He was with all kind of church organizations. He walked it and lived it. This man already knew that he was blessed to come home, to survive, and all those kind of things. So he gave back to, you know, the world like the Lord, he felt, gave to him.
Absolutely. That's once again another beautiful thing. Yeah. Beautiful. Listen, I know you probably answered this before, but Daisha Wigforth said, do you have any contact with those family members now?
I have contact with the girlfriend, but unfortunately, the family members never reached out. When my dad reached out to those family members, they never, you know, did any replies or anything of that nature. So unfortunately, he couldn't apologize to any of the family members of those crimes.
Okay. All right. So, okay. So he had life. He got the streaming. So he was able to make the money. That money was able to help him fund to get a good lawyer that was able to get him out. But he spent what, 36 years?
36 years. He was 36 when he went in, and he was 72 when he went out. He did 36 in and 36 36 out.
Goodness.
Yeah.
That's deep. So half of his life he was out, and the other half he spent locked up.
Yeah.
Oh man. Now, as far as his career with his music, when you say you knew him at 10, well, that's when you met him, right? How did that even come about? I'm not sure if you covered that, and I apologize if I missed it. How did you end up getting connected with your father at that age?
Well, I knew my dad. My grandfather and mother kind of told me that, you know, he was a singer in that group called Tower of Power, right? And I knew of him. And once, no, I take that back. He was at a show after he left the group. He was at a show, a nightclub in San Francisco.
Okay.
The club had a lady that was like a family member aunt, and she was there, and she said, I know where Cece's at. And she gave the waitress a note to give to him, and he ended up calling my grandmother. I was staying with my grandmother at the time. Called my grandmother, and he came over. My grandmother cooked gumbo. We had some gumbo. He came over and met me for the first time since I was a baby, and we kind of connected, after that. And at 11 years old, he ended up going to prison. So I knew him for 1 year outside of prison.
Wow.
And what's a trip about that, I had a paper route at 11 years old, and he was in the front page of the San Francisco Chronicle after committing these crimes. And I'm delivering these papers, every one, I'm wrapping and folding, and my dad is on the front page. And every time I delivered that paper, I just thought that I'm glad nobody knew that was my dad, because I was so embarrassed. Because people didn't know it was my dad, because my last name was Maloney. And that was my government name, Maloney, at the time. And nobody knew that was my dad. I didn't talk about my dad, And the only thing I thought about was, a lot of people don't know that this is my dad, But I got over that embarrassment part of it, and got to know him. But at the time, I was shook up as a youth to know that my dad was on the front page of the Chronicle.
Now, did that affect you negatively growing up, as far as when people did find out it was your dad? How did his legacy affect you as a child growing up?
Well, after it got out, I started talking about it more, and I knew my dad was remorseful. It didn't bother me, because he told me, man, son, I messed up. I was, I was on drugs, and I'm, if I gotta meet my Lord and Savior with his death penalty, that's what I gotta do. And for when he said that, that he was remorseful and he wasn't scared to die, you know, I knew he was serious. And after that, I started telling him, yeah, that's my dad, you know, because he had that strong, you know, conviction about remorse. And I could not have a strong conviction about him being my dad after having that conversation. Once we had that conversation over the phone, you know, and I knew that he was, you know, remorseful and he was with the Lord, I was on his team. I was team dad at that point, you know, so nobody could say anything, you know, in the neighborhood. And I was a good capper, so if you want to cap, I can cap back.
He said, stop playing with me. I'm ready for it. That's right. Okay. So, you know, well, I know he passed away. At what age did he pass away?
He passed away at 77. He came home at 72. At 72, he stayed he was home 5 years, and then he passed. He had liver cancer.
Right. Oh man. So for the 2 years, okay.
Yeah.
That's deep. How did you deal with his death?
It was hard. It was real hard because he had stayed with me. And when your parents stay with you, you get closer. You know, you start meeting them on another level and getting into their mindset on another level. And you know, I'm a connoisseur of music, and we would stay up to 5 and 6 o'clock in the morning. And I'm check this music out or check this song out. And we had some sessions. And so it really affected me because how close we end up getting. And it's still, you know, some you know, days and like his birthday and his death day. And as a matter of fact, every gathering I give at my home, we end the party with "You're Still a Young Man," because he used to call me and I have a gathering. And he would say, son, did you play any of my music? I'm like, no, we playing Tupac and Snoop, man.
Tupac and Snoop. That's what I'm talking about.
You know, so he used to always say, did you play anything of mine? I said, nah, that's old school. That's old school. But you know what? Everybody now knows you're still a young man. If you came to my party, you're going to hear it.
That's right. That's how it's supposed to be.
That's right.
Big shout out to Mona and big shout out to Anthony. Anthony asked a question here. Let's bring that question up. Anthony Smith. He said, hey, Clarence, right? Clarence, Carlton. Why are you so persistent in keeping your father's legacy alive? That's a question that Anthony put up. What do you have to say to that question?
Well, when I seen my dad for the last time, I got the call that he's probably not going to make it past the weekend. So me and my cousin Cliff, we went to his house. I mean, to where he was staying at the time. He had went stayed somewhere. And I kissed him and I talked to him. And I told him, I said, Dad, I have your legacy here on earth. I got you. You can now rest in peace. So I felt that we was a relay race. And the reason that I got to visit with him in jail and talk and get to know him, the reason that he came, stayed with me, is because I was supposed to do what we're doing today. I had to, you know, get that baton from him and pass on his legacy, because ain't too many people, you know, got a hit record. You know, ain't too many people that was with a band that's been doing this for over 50 years. And he was there from the beginning. And like Lenny Williams said, I would have never joined the group if it wasn't for your dad. You know, he started that, you know, that legacy. And I want to keep that around. I want to tell that story. I also want to tell a story of somebody coming from nothing to something to nothing to something. See, those are the messages that we need to hear. You know, we want everything to be perfect in the world. And nothing is going wrong, or you didn't do no wrong and all that kind of stuff. Nah, I'm going to tell you about going to the bottom and coming back to the top. And
from the ground up.
Yeah. Okay. From the ground up. From the ground up.
You already know. For real. And you know what? That's so on point, because I was going to say that, you know, why would you let your dad's legacy die? He is a human being that had a rough time, that made a mistake, and just how we want to be forgiven for what we do, that goes for everybody else. So why would you, you know, allow that to happen? So yeah, definitely understand where you're coming from with that one for sure.
Right on.
Now, what is this about this Hawaiian punch story? Talk to us about that.
Well, when I met my dad, and remember I told you my grandmother cooked gumbo?
Yes.
Okay, she cooked gumbo, and I was looking at my dad. I was like, I don't know if that's my dad. I was, you know, he had to almost be my twin, and I didn't feel he was my twin. So we eat gumbo, and my grandmother said, what do you want to drink? And my dad said, Hawaiian punch. And I said, that's my favorite drink. You want it, you must be my dad.
So that you didn't need no other Maury test. That was it.
No, the DNA was Hawaiian punch.
Okay.
So after I heard him say that, I said, you my dad. I'm gonna let my guard down now.
Oh man.
Now, do you have any brothers and sisters, or you was the only child?
No, it's 10 of us. My dad was a Rolling Stone. He had 10 of us.
Rolling Stone. Oh my God.
He had 10. He had 2 that we never met. I think it was a Donna and a Deborah. Then we had Don Renee. We got Doreen. We got Dana. Then we got Donald Stevenson Jr. We call JR. We got Damien. We got Derek, and we got Ricky.
What's up with the D's though? What is going on with the
They
D's?
was all D's except me and Ricky was the only non-D.
Y'all the special ones, I guess.
Yeah. Now, well, Ricky was because of his stage name, Rickstevens. D, my dad's real name is Donald Stevenson. So that's where the D's come in at. His stage name is Rickstevens. And when he was on Broadway in San Francisco, the big billboard sign, they said it's too big to say featuring Donald Stevenson. So the club owners said, you look like a Rick, and we're gonna shorten Rick Stevenson into Stevens. So he became Rick Stevens in the early 60s and took that name on and ran with it.
Now, out of all your brothers and sisters, are you the only one continuing to tell a story, or are they helping you tell that story?
I'm pretty much the only one telling the story. They support me and and behind the scenes with stuff. They do a lot of stuff like that, but they already knew. They called me the Sonager. So they already knew that was going to be, my thing to be out there like that. But they support me and help me with, stories that they might have had and all that kind of stuff. So we real tight knit with that kind of stuff. And, we just got to keep his legacy alive.
Absolutely. So, with that being said, and what your father went through, even with the lawyer and him being able to get out, and from what you see today, how do you feel about the justice system?
Well, the justice system is set up for just staying in jail, putting you away, sweeping you under the rug. It's not a rehabilitation system. And until they create that, it's going to continue to do what it's been doing. It's not going to change. Anything with change, you have to disrupt. And it's not enough disruptors out here to change that. Like I said, my dad would have still been in jail if he wasn't blessed with royalty checks from, the Tower of Power music. And those kind of people, when they come out, they become a blessing to the world. And that's what you want inmates to do. Now go to these hoods and talk to these youngsters who everybody else is scared to go to. See, those are the main guys that should be in the hood. Those are the ones that should be not letting the youngsters go do what they did. We put them away, and we don't utilize their now blessing of becoming somebody that can help change some people who might do the same things that they did. So until we deal with people that's in jail that has a resume. See, when you get a job, you have a resume because you have been on that job and you have learned some stuff. Well, inmate has learned some stuff. He has learned what not to do, what roads not to cross and go down. And we don't utilize their resume because we want to punish.
That's right.
So until we find disruptors in this system, it's going to continue to be the same.
Okay, that's what I'm talking about. That's deep. Let me bring that question back up. Anthony had another question. He said, have you ever had encounters with the police to question their motives?
Oh yeah, we all as black men and that's a part of what we deal with on a regular. So I have, but I pushed it aside and moved on. That's the main thing. You just gotta know what you deal with and deal with it, and then move on. Just don't get caught up, and so it won't take your life to a whole nother direction.
Right? Has it any time where they encountered you because of your dad or harassed you because of your dad?
No, because keep in mind my last name is Maloney, so majority of the people don't even know the Rickstevens side of my journey. They mostly know, everybody know the Rickstevens side after he came home, because when he came home, he stayed with me, and I was his sonager. So I was, with him all the time. So, that's how most of my family and friends even know that's my dad, from that story, and yeah.
What about the flip side? Is there groupies because he was a famous, singer? Does that affect? I guess I would say, I don't know if you call it in a positive way. I mean, it might be positive for the guys. They like, yeah, bring them on.
Yeah, bring it on. Well, it was more groupies for him.
Okay.
He had the groupies. He was the guy that was, and I used to say, "Oh, come on, Dad, come on, man, stay focused, man."
Well, listen, he had how many kids? So he did.
Exactly.
Was a ladies' man. Okay.
Yeah. So it was on him more than anything. I was in business mode, and then most of the time my wife was with me, and she wouldn't let. She was watching, so I couldn't do nothing anyway.
He said, "Look, I gotta drop the bomb on that. Wifey ain't trying to hit none of that. Oh, that's right. That's right, Wifey. That's how we do it.
That's right.
So let me ask you this: do you have a relationship with the other members that was a part of the group?
I have a good relationship with Lenny Williams, who took my dad's place and who kind of took Tower of Power to a whole nother level. So me and Lenny, any music questions, anything in the music industry, I talk to Uncle Lenny, and Lenny is always on the phone giving me feedback, and he is the #1 guy of all the Tower of Power guys that I have dealt with over the years. Some of the members now, when my dad was, when they heard he was, sickly and that kind of stuff, they kind of reached out, Emilio, and they said a lot of prayers and stuff like that. But, we never got close to anything like that. But out of everybody, Lenny Williams, who ended up taking his place, and if you know anything about Tower of Power, Lenny was the man. He was the one that took them, to a whole nother level. And he is the most positive influence out of everybody in the group.
Now, I want to clarify so people understand. We're talking to Lenny Williams that Steve Harvey played on his show that one time, right?
That's right. Yeah. That's where he built his, name. He had a small, thing solo. Then he went with Tower and took Tower to new heights. Then he left, did his solo career, and that's when he did that "Cause I Love You" that's on the Steve Harvey Kings of Comedy thing, and that took him. He said that took him to another level, as well as the royalty checks that he got from Kanye and them boys who sampled some of his music.
Okay.
Yeah. So,
I didn't know Kanye sampled. So what did Kanye sample?
I forgot which song he sampled. He kind of sped it up, but it was a Lenny Williams. I think not Mystical, one of them fast rappers. They did a Lenny Williams sample. And Lenny say he started getting checks in the mail that paid for his kids.
Twista did it.
Yeah, Twista. There you go. Yeah, that's it. And he said it paid for houses and colleges and all kind of things.
That's what I'm talking about. See, that's why y'all gotta keep the masters and keep your stuff so you can get that money, baby.
Yeah.
Man, this is a beautiful conversation. We're gonna go to a short commercial break. And then we're going to come back, and then we're going to ask you a couple more things, and then we'll be ending the show. So hold on, guys. We are going to a commercial break. This commercial is for people out there that's looking to take workshop classes, and for people that's beginning in certain fields with wanting to write a book, etc. But you guys can see for yourself. Let's get into that commercial.
Looking to learn something new? Well, you're one click away from taking that next step to be where you want to be. Book a private session or sign up for our workshop classes that teaches you how to build your credit, budget your money, artist development skills, start and grow a podcast, and the basic skills needed to write your first book. Act now. Go to peacementoringllc.com and sign up now. For private sessions, email us at peacementoringllc@gmail.com.
You're now tuned in to From the Ground Up Productions, broadcasting around the world.
Hey, I need my drink too. I'm jealous over here. I knew I should have came with my stuff. You know what I'm saying? I'm about to go get mine. Man.
That's a nice little setup there. You ain't even got to go anywhere. Just like, I'm gonna do a ticket right now.
It's right there. Hey, this is a quick pour, man. Hey, this the boom boom room. I call it the boom boom room.
Ray's boom boom room. That's right.
That's right. So the man thinketh. So it shall be.
Oh man. Big shout out to Tyler Mix. On the scene, we see you, Tyler Mix, screenwriter, author, and all of that, So we covered a lot, but what I want to ask you, is there anything specifically that we did not ask you that you want the people to know about you and your dad, or anything that you want us to know that we didn't cover or ask?
Let me think. I don't know. I can't think of anything off the top of my head. Just know that, his story is real powerful. And I want everybody to, learn the story, understand a man who did some, bad in his life and was looking to correct it. When he got incarcerated, he went cold turkey with the drugs. He didn't want, they could have gave him a lot of things to help him get off the drugs. He said, no, if I'm going to my Lord and Savior, I'm going to go clean. I'm going to go like how I came into the world. And he went cold turkey, got cleaned up and got right. And he became, a man of God. He got so how can I put it? He got in so good with the warden. The warden used to let him go and perform at juveniles and all kind of things outside of the jail. And no other lifer has ever did that because you're a lifer. And the chances of you trying to run is real high when you're a lifer. And they respected him so much. They let him go outside and do those kind of things. He went back when he came home. He went back to the jails and performed. He was, back at the jails, giving testimonies at the jails to the, all the brothers that was in jail that needed to know testimonies. And he got into the Bible. He found out Moses had committed some crimes and murders. And he found out if Moses, I ain't gonna quote Moses. I don't remember who in the Bible, but I remember the story where he said somebody in the Bible did some murders, and they got back in God's good graces after that. So that was one of the stories that he knew by heart.
Okay.
And, so just know that if you know anybody that's incarcerated and they're trying to change their life, and you feel that they're changing their life, stay with them, help them get out, help them become an advocate for the Lord out here, for the world. We need all our soldiers,
Absolutely.
So just know that we need those kind of people in the world still.
Yep.
Absolutely.
More now than ever.
That's a fact. That's great. You want to read?
Anthony Smith actually said, "Hey, let them know about the patience it took you to work with your father."
Yeah, it's a lot of patience because he didn't know all this internet stuff, this phone stuff, and going everywhere. So you gotta hip him to no more writing letters, Pops. Now you got emails.
It's a different type of mail. It gets there
a different
faster.
kind of mail. Yeah, so teaching him that, and we used to get into it sometimes because he used to say, "Well, who's the father?" So I would be dictating so much, it was almost like I was dad, and he would call my mom, "Helen, tell your son that I'm the father, please," that kind of stuff, and I used to have to, calm it down because I had to realize that is my dad, that kind of thing. So that's, that's a change too, when you're dictating what you should and should not do, and that's your father, so that was a balancing act, but we did good. We was the best of friends, and if you can have a dad that you best friends with, I mean, that's the ultimate blessing. And we both love music too, and music and sports, that was our thing. So we had that common bond. I couldn't sing, but he said, hey, I'm show and you business. So we a team.
Right. Listen, I think that, it is a blessing. Well, first of all, it was a blessing that he had you as a son to be able to be there and help him through all of that. Because when you lose so many years being locked up, you could be exposed to different stuff because different people from all over. But coming back out into the real world is hard to adjust. So learning these new things, knowing that the new technology, what are people doing now, what's more common, how people dress, how people are, because things change with time, so it is a blessing that he was able to have you there to help him get those things done, because people come out and sometimes they feel so totally lost and they're playing catch up. And they're playing catch up. And so that's a beautiful thing that you were able to be there and do that. Anthony got a lot of questions. Big shout out to Anthony Smith. He said, "Why do people call you C Rider?"
Well, hey, Anthony is a good friend of mine, so
he
got
that.
So he knows the history.
Yeah. So he cooking dinner and he answering all these questions.
Big Anthony. We got Anthony on deck. He got good questions.
Yeah. But yeah, that's a nickname. It's a long story. We ain't gonna get into the Sea Rider. But that I've taken on that name though. So if you see me on Facebook, I am now Clarence Sea Rider.
All right, y'all know what that means. He ain't trying to give us the tea, y'all. That's what that means. He's trying to hold back. Okay, we want to know about Sea Rider because now I'm kind of
I'm curious.
Hey, it's to be sold, not told.
All right,
did you do music?
Huh?
Did you do music?
No, I don't do any music. But I'm into the Clive Davis side of music kind of thing, where I'm trying to put together some projects. Because because of the love of music, I've gotten an ear for music. So what I want to start in the first project is my dad's. Like I said, we're working on that project now. It should be out sometime next year. Hopefully, I'll be back on your show to promote that. But next year we got a project where we're trying to keep his legacy alive with some things. So I got some good artists. I don't want to mention them right now because I don't know if we all the way in with everything. But just know it's some great Bay Area artists. I'm gonna use Bay Area artists to recreate some stuff that my dad did, and it's gonna be real powerful, and that'll help keep the legacy alive.
Beautiful, beautiful. Yes, that's nice that you're doing that. What advice would you give to someone either in your position as a child or someone that is going through something similar where they're locked up, what your dad went through? What would you say to anyone out there?
Well, first, as a child, you want to get to know your sibling. I mean, your father, your parent, whether it be a mother incarcerated, a father, get to know him. That is your gene line. That is your bloodline, so you can't pick who your mother and father is, but get to know them, get inside of their heart, because, you want to know everything about, that person, that gene line, and God, what do God say? Honor their mother and father, and your days should be long. So get to know, your mother and father. That's what you should do. As far as someone incarcerated, stay on the path of rehabilitation. Whatever what they're giving you, it doesn't matter. You be in charge. You attack on how to be a better human being and all those kind of things. So just attack being better, and we should do this, outside too.
Absolutely.
Just trying to be, just try to be better, and that's what you have time in there. That's where you got time, right? If you get time, use your time wisely to, so when you come home, you can be a better, person for your family, and for the world. So those are the main things. Be the best that you can be if you're incarcerated in an attack. I don't care what the system or what they're doing, you can still do everything that you need to do to be the greatest, that you can be.
All right. Absolutely. Great advice there that you gave. Gloria Stewart, don't worry. We're about to play part of that song right now, Tower of Power. So guys, take a listen. Do I got to mute these? Or unmute those? Okay.
Yeah.
Muted me quick. Slow down. All right, guys, we're going to play Rickstevens' song.
A small clip.
A clip of it so that you guys can hear. But definitely make sure y'all go over and find the song and download it and continue to support.
Yeah.
That's the most important part. I always tell people that.
Me and my siblings get the royalties now. So
that's what I'm talking about. Okay, so listen, we ain't even gonna play the whole thing. We're gonna play a clip. Y'all want to hear the whole thing? Make sure y'all go and download, support, or purchase the song. So let's get into that right now.
second hand. I was accused of being too young, but I'm not so young. Can't you understand that I think like a man? Still a young man, baby. Ooh, don't waste your time. No, no, baby. Still a young man, baby. I'm not wasting my time. Don't waste your
Yes. Listen, I see why your father was the ladies' man. Okay. I can't hear. Hold on. Hold on 1 second. We don't hear no sound.
There you go.
Okay, there we go. Yes, we see. Beautiful song. And see, it's so great when you got great music like that, which is timeless music. And music like that, it always makes you feel so good. You know what I mean? Like that is a blessing. I mean, we still hip hoppers and even with me, but I'm gonna tell you one thing. I still listen to the old jams because it does give you a different feeling. It gives you a different feeling. You can feel the difference.
That's right.
You can feel the difference. We ain't trying to bust a cap at nobody. You want to love somebody. You know what I'm saying?
Kids, we trying some kids.
Yes. Telling the time. Oh, wait, Horace Williams. Hey, see, and then we're gonna get up out of here. Last question, y'all. Deisha Wickfall said that's going on her playlist right now. Okay. Horace Williams said, "Hey, C, tell them about the time y'all went to the dollar store for the first time."
We went to the dollar store for the first time, and my dad say, "Everything's $1. I'm gonna buy everything in here." Then
he said, "I'm balling out. Stop playing with me." That's good. I feel like that too. When I go to the dollar store, and then when they add it up, I'll be like, "Wait, hold up, what did I get?" All right, let me put some stuff back. I do not need this stuff. That is hilarious. Well, listen, CC Stevens, we thank you so much. We love your spirit, and listen, we could tell, man, that you come from good quality people. It's a blessing, you know what I mean? And keep that going on. Keep your father's legacy going. When you have something else going on that you want to promote and anything, come back to us. We are definitely here for support. And again, we just want to thank you so much for coming on and sharing your story and your father's story with us here on From the Ground Up Productions. Is there any shout outs that you would like to give?
Shout out just to my family and friends, everybody that's been supporting me, over the years. Big shout out to my boy Ernest Brown. He just lost his mom, and so big shout out to him. I'm with him, on a regular now, trying to keep his head up high. But everybody just give love out here. We got to give love. If Donald Trump didn't show you anything, that we can't be divided. we got to be together. We got to figure out. He tried to divide us, but no, we together. We ain't gonna let the devil win. So let's stay with God, stay with family, stay with friends, and reach out to everybody that needs help. And let's do big things in this world. Let's utilize this world as a blessing, like it should be.
Absolutely. Once again, dropping jewels and great stuff. Love it.
And once again, shout out to y'all. Shout out to Jeff. Jeff for putting this together. Jeff is my guy, for putting this together and for you guys putting this platform out there, you know, it's a blessing. We got to keep doing this kind of stuff, supporting you, and anything I can do to help support you. I'm with y'all. Y'all family now. So
thank you.
Thank you.
We here. That's
Yeah,
right. We appreciate that so much.
Right
So
on.
why don't you give your social media so people can follow you, and if somebody want to get in touch with you, and if they would, what for interviews or even for artists that you're working with, right? I don't want to put that out there if that's not
right.
But
yeah, but you
your
can hit me
social
on Instagram, Rickstevens Legacy, Rick_Legacy, like on the board. You can check that out. Rickstevens Facebook page, Rickstevens Memories, his Facebook page, my personal page, Clarence C. Ryder on Facebook. I'm getting some other social media stuff out there, you know, so we can keep doing that. Any book writers, any up and coming book writers who's interested in doing anything on this book, I got a lot of things that, you know, I want to put out, and book is one of them. We're working on a Netflix documentary with Darren Shepard out of Los Angeles. So we're trying to put that together. Hopefully we can get that green lit. So if any advice on helping Darren with that project, we're about 10 years in on building, you know, stuff for that. So hopefully we can get that on Netflix, or, you know, even Showtime or HBO. So you can see that with the Rick James documentaries and all these other documentaries that you're seeing. So we're just trying to continue to build on that legacy and be a blessing to the world. You know, any youth or anybody that's going through something, you know, hit me up on any of those pages, or, you know, something. And I'm a mentor. I help with anything that you need. So I'm a servant for the world. So anybody need help, hit us up.
All right. There you have it. Listen, CC Stevens, again, we want to thank you so much, and please keep in touch and keep us informed of what you got going on, so we can stay supporting you and keeping your father's legacy alive.
I will. Thank you. God bless you guys. Y'all stay safe.
God bless you. Thank you.
God bless you too. We'll talk to you later. All right, please. All right, guys. Listen, I want to thank everybody for tuning in to From the Ground Up Productions. Y'all already know what it is. Just a reminder that we do have a reality show that we're working on called Making It in the 845. We are actually working on that at this very moment, and that will be coming out soon. So keep an ear out for that. We also have a compilation that we're going to be dropping called Family Business. And this is me and my whole family on this joint, and others who are like family to me. We're going to be dropping that also. So look out for that as well. And do not forget tomorrow. Y'all know what that is. It's the Triple T's, baby. It's the Triple T's. What we got? We got Talk Therapy Tuesdays with your girl, LADIMIZ. And this conversation here is definitely going to be one that a good thing I'm doing this for myself. Ray's gonna be behind the scenes, but we got Talk Therapy Tuesdays, and that's tomorrow. So make sure y'all pull up.
She's scared of me.
This might be an uncomfortable situation, but we're gonna tap into this, because after the Dave Chappelle and all of that stuff that's going on, I think that this is a conversation we need to have. And the topic tomorrow is gonna be, can we bridge the gap between heterosexuals and homosexuals? I want to know. You understand what I'm saying? I want to know what both sides feel, because that's a deep topic right there. All right. So look, pull up, because it's going down tomorrow. Again, I want to thank y'all so much for tuning in to From the Ground Up Productions. I'm your host, LADIMIZ, and this is my co-host,
Ray, y'all.
And y'all already know what it is. There's only one way to go from here. And actually, I'll see y'all tomorrow, or I'll see y'all next week on Monday. Don't forget, if you haven't already, to make sure y'all subscribe. If you're tuned in right now and you haven't already, subscribe to our YouTube channel right now and hit that notification button. All right. I forgot to say that tomorrow, Talk Therapy Tuesdays is at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So when you pull up, make sure you pull up around that time. And don't forget, if you have a Roku, to make sure that you add our TV network to your TV list. We have so many great things in store. And that is it. We appreciate y'all. We love y'all. And we will see y'all next week, or I'll see you tomorrow. Peace.
We hope you enjoyed your time with From the Ground Up Productions. We'll see you next time. Be sure to add our channel to your Roku list and listen to us on all streaming platforms.
From the ground up. From the ground up. There's only one way to go from here.